Before making the video about the Asurans from the Pegasus Galaxy, I need to get this faction out of the way. I'm talking about the Lucian Alliance, a criminal organization similar to the Zan Consortium, which is the only criminal syndicate I know from Star Wars. In short, they're a mafia-like faction whose goal is to claim the power the Goa'uld lost and consolidate it for themselves. So, let's begin.
After the defeat of Anubis and the death of the vast majority of the System Lords, the power and influence of the Goa'uld Empire collapsed. Many worlds began to gain their freedom, but in this power vacuum, several groups of mercenaries, bandits, bounty hunters, and other criminals decided to join forces and form their own government, free from Goa'uld influence or any other authority, including the Tori, whom they either envy or despise. In truth, they see them as competitors, or even a potential threat. The origins of the Lucian Alliance are mysterious, but it is implied that the organization may have formed around 12 or 13 years before the events of the Destiny. After the fall of the Goa'uld Empire, they began gaining power and influence. However, during the Ori invasion, the Alliance had only a few Hartak-class ships at its disposal, which were deployed in the battle at the Supergate, with disastrous results. This defeat weakened their forces, left them vulnerable to the Ori, cost them several planets, and fueled their desire for revenge against the Tori. Little by little, the Alliance recovered its strength and began expanding its control over more worlds, whether through diplomacy or, more often, through force, making those planets dependent on them. On several occasions, they attacked SG-1, even going so far as to carry out an attack on Earth itself. Later, they attempted to capture one of the Tori's Daedalus-class ships but failed. However, during that mission, they killed Colonel Emerson, a good man, and one who will never be forgotten. As the threat posed by the Alliance grew, and while SG-1 was attempting to rescue the Odyssey crew, they infiltrated a meeting of Nettan's second-in-command's key leaders within the Lucian Alliance. During that meeting, it was revealed that Nettan's leadership was in jeopardy, and that some or all of the seconds were planning to take his place. Mitchell discovered that the Odyssey was under Anachio's control. To create a distraction, he planted rumors that sparked distrust among the seconds, turning them against one another and against Anachio himself. In the end, the mission was a success. Nettan was eliminated, the seconds turned on each other in a struggle for power, and the Odyssey crew was rescued. However, even fractured, the Lucian Alliance didn't disappear. On the contrary, the division made them even more dangerous. Operating independently, they now share a common goal to destroy Stargate Command, and, if possible, to take Earth for themselves. After the collapse of the Goa'uld regime, much of their technology and resources fell into the hands of the very humans they had once enslaved. Some of these humans banded together to form the Lucian Alliance. Although humans are the dominant species within the Alliance, it also includes members of other races, such as the Iranians. The Alliance's ability to form a relatively coherent organization makes it unique among the scattered human populations of the Milky Way. However, this unity comes with flaws. Comprised mostly of mercenaries, smugglers, and criminals, its leadership is weak and often plagued by internal power struggles. Members live dangerous lives. Failure, or a rival's ambition, could mean death. In this way, they are not unlike the Goa'uld themselves. The Alliance rules through fear and intimidation, punishing disobedience with swift and brutal retaliation. On the worlds under their control, Lucian leaders act as criminal warlords. They destroy essential infrastructure, such as farms, leaving populations dependent on the food supplies they provide. They control education by dictating what teachers are allowed to teach, and even indoctrinate children, arming and training them as soldiers. The Lucian Alliance is led by a single leader, who delegates responsibilities, territories, and resources among their seconds. Roughly 20 of these seconds oversee various operations, including smuggling, extortion, organized crime, and the trafficking of kassa, a grain-like crop with addictive properties, similar to corn. The Alliance controls a significant fleet of Goa'uld ships, including Hartaks, Alkesh bombers, Death gliders, and Teltaks. They also operate a widespread network of spies throughout the Milky Way, which, despite their loose power structure, makes them a legitimate threat to the Tori and the newly formed Jaffa government. the Lucian Alliance maintains a considerable army of professional soldiers, supported by a large fleet of former Goa'uld vessels, including Hartax, Alkesh, Teltax, and Death Gliders, among other ship classes. In addition, they employ a vast network of bounty hunters, smugglers, extortionists, swindlers, and spies spread across their coalition and always ready to carry out their objectives.
The Lucian Alliance is a faction trying to fill the power vacuum left by the Goa'uld, sharing several traits with them: unchecked ambition, ruling through fear, and a fragile, unstable hierarchy. But let's be honest, they don't have the same narrative weight or intimidating presence the Goa'uld had throughout most of Stargate SG-1. This faction feels like the writer's attempt to keep a human threat in the Milky Way after the Goa'uld Empire collapsed in the later seasons. Even though Stargate Universe hinted that they could pose a large-scale danger, their impact never truly reached the level of past enemies. In comparison, the villains in the Pegasus Galaxy like the Genii were handled more effectively, or at least a little better. But what do you think? Do you believe the Lucian Alliance could ever be a real threat to the Tauri? Or were they always meant to be a smaller, shadowy nuisance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share so the YouTube algorithm shows it to more people. Until the next video, goodbye.